seats. School is now in session.
Homeschooled podcast. Homeschool.
The Homeschool podcast. Why? Because he was homeschooled.
I don't want to do that.
No, okay.
I don't want to do that at all. Mic test, 1 2, test 1 2. Welcome back to Homeschooled Podcast. I'm Agostino Zoida. I'm the host of the Homeschooled Podcast. I want to give a big shout out right now to my co-host, Kevin Lyons, who's not here in studio with me. But as I always say, he is always here in spirit, and he does a lot of hard work editing all of these, and he's still my co-host. So guys, give a nice big round of applause for Kevin Lyons, and keep those applause going for yourself, because you are an amazing person who supports podcasts, and I love it. Whether you're a returning podcaster, returning listener to my podcast, Homeschooled, I of course appreciate you more than anything, because I love the loyalty. Loyalty always stumps everything else, and I also extremely appreciate the ones that are giving me a try for the first time. Maybe this is your second or third episode and you're returning. Maybe you like what you heard. Either way, I know you got a lot of options out there for podcasts, so I really appreciate you. All right, you guys. It's a beautiful day. It's been a beautiful week. We've had amazing weather. I don't know about you guys, but I'm in Southern California. It's been amazing. And I know what you're thinking. Oh, you're in Southern California. Of course you got amazing weather. No. Listen, I don't like 90s to 100. I don't like to sweat. I don't like to run the air conditioner right now while everybody's at home. So we're all using the air conditioners at the same time all day during the daytime. Then we got blackouts, and then we got pets that are like dying and panting. Listen, it ain't all like cracked up to be out here in Los Angeles. But anyway, it's been beautiful. It's been in the 70s, and wherever you are, I hope that you're finding the beauty in it. Like when I'm in the cold, I find the beauty in it, you know, the beautiful scenery and stuff. But it's just been a great week. And hang on one second. I forgot to hit record on the camera. Yeah, there we go. Not that type shit over here, guys. We run a tight ship, professionals. That's what happens when I don't have a co-host in-house with me. I got to remember to hit record on my own camera. I also don't have a guest in-house with me today. If you're new to this podcast, let me just tell you, every now and then, once a month, every, 5 or 6 episodes, instead of having a guest, I will come on here solo by myself if I have some things to talk about. Just a quick reminder of what this podcast has always been about here at Homeschooled Podcast, and that's kind of some stuff that we're going to talk about today, because I like to come on here by myself and sometimes get some things out of my mind. Listen, it's Friday. The weekend is here. I know what you're thinking. Oh, is it Friday? I don't know what day it is. We're in quarantine. Listen, guys, it's a beautiful, beautiful weekend. Life has never been more gorgeous. The outside scenery, no smog, no traffic. It's amazing, okay? Let's just be happy for what we do have. It's beautiful. Okay, so yeah, I do these solo podcasts every now and then, and as you can tell, it's a little difficult without a guest. It's a little difficult for me without a co-host, but I try to get through them because I have something to say. And what I was saying was a reminder about what this podcast is about. It's called Homeschooled. Now, it's called that for a couple of different reasons. Partially because I was homeschooled my entire life. It's a big part of what made me me. So I thought it was a very unique name. Also, I've had to teach myself many things. For example, starting this podcast. I didn't know how to do it. I'm not very tech savvy. It seemed like a lot of hard work to start a podcast. I don't even know how to get on iTunes, all that stuff. But you have to teach yourself how to do all these things. I got used to that by teaching myself to do a lot of things by being homeschooled. And I've taught myself to do many, many things, including stand-up comedy and writing. I do not have a college degree. I do not have a degree in script writing or writing at all. I can tell you I had been writing my entire life since I was a child. And whether it be good or not, I always love creative writing. I can tell you that when I was homeschooled, it was through a program where we had to mail in our tests and stuff like that and book reports. And I can tell you that some of my book reports got the program interested, and they reached out and said that, based off my writing, I was above average, yada, yada, yada. But anyway, point being, not trying to brag, the point is that I've always loved writing. I thought I was good at it. Never had any real teaching in it. I don't have a diploma. I have written for some major television shows, screenplays. I just, you gotta just learn. You gotta teach yourself sometimes. If you love something, you gotta just learn it. You're gonna learn it from the ground up. You go to school because someone told you to go to school, and then you go to college because someone told you got to go to college, or maybe you decided you wanted to, and then you studied something because someone said you got to pick something to study in. Most of the people I know, whatever they pick, they're not doing something related to that, and that's okay too. Later on in life, you found something you were passionate about. Nothing wrong with that. I know a lot of people like that too. But the point is that they just found what they were interested in, and they pursued it themselves because they loved it. I am in love with stand-up comedy. Absolutely in love with it, you guys. Haven't been able to do it for quite some time. It's been heartbreaking. It's been difficult, something that I've had to deal with. Again, it's something that I taught myself. I don't know how to do stand-up comedy. I watched a billion specials. It's probably how I taught myself how to do it. I had no idea how it even worked. The first time I ever walked into an open mic, it was the Hollywood Improv. I did one open mic, and I asked them, okay, what next? How do I get booked on shows? Like an idiot. That's what I asked them. I had no clue how it works. I started from the ground up. You teach yourself things, okay? That's part of what this podcast is about. Is just, and it doesn't have to be stand-up comedy, whatever you're interested in. I know the hard work that it takes because you love something. And, excuse me, I'm drinking one of my girly drinks. I don't do that White Claw bullshit, but I got some smeared off spiked sparkling seltzer, which I also did not pick out, but my wife bought it and she hated it, I guess, because of the flavor. So she put it down here in my podcast studio in my mini fridge for my guests because she hated it. But hey, I'm gonna drink it. It's warm in here and it's refreshing. But anyway, there's a lot of great podcasts out there. I'm a fanboy of them as well. I'm a groupie with some of these podcasts. I buy the T-shirts. Listen, you guys, I've been very close friends with Joe Diaz. I know a lot of my listeners love him. Before he had a podcast, I've been close friends with him. And it was like I had two different relationships. I had the relationship of like a good friend of mine. We'd go and eat. We'd come over and we'd talk. And he'd come over and we'd go on stage. And while we waited to go on stage, we'd talk and laugh. And then it was like the next day I'd pop on the podcast when he got his podcast started. And I was like listening to a different person. I was getting so inspired by some of the things that they were pushing on there. And so I've been a fanboy of podcasts since 7 years now, and I buy the T-shirts, and I'm like you guys. There's so many great podcasters out there. There's so many great podcasts. I mean, you've got the Rogans. I mean, you got guys that are like huge name comedians. And one thing that I like to try to point out, not to take anything away from those guys. As I said, I'm big fans of some, and I'm not trying to take anything away from them, but I feel like that's a different purpose. They're great, brilliant comedians, some of the best working today, and it's great to hear their podcasts. Some of them are about different things. They're motivational, they're educational. They talk about stand-up, not all the time, music, sports. But, it's great to hear some of your favorite comics and things that they're talking about. But I feel like my podcast serves a different purpose. And what that purpose is it's someone who hasn't made it yet. It's someone who you don't know. You can go and listen to like Rogan and Marin and all these podcasts and these great ones, and you can go and hear them say like, man, when I first started, I remember doing this or all that stuff. But I'm telling it to you as I'm living it. Don't you wish that there was a podcast when Joe Rogan was coming up? And he was like telling you the bullshit that he had to deal with, because I'm sure it wasn't overnight, you guys. None of these big comics that you love, it wasn't overnight. Wouldn't you love to hear them? Not only, it's great to hear it now and listen back on the things they did, but how about as they were experiencing it? The road. Because a lot of you guys, if you're artists or just passionate about anything, especially stand-up, you probably relate to me. Hearing about the journey, the ups and downs, and the obstacle courses, that's what I like to talk about. And I have guests on here and I'll try to get them to talk about the experience, to deliver the experience from you, whether it be old stories or how they dealt with this or how they're dealing with comedy now. But every now and then I like to come on here by myself, no two people talking over each other. I can get my point of views out, and that's what I want to do today. Is get some stuff out about documenting the journey. That's the slogan of the podcast. We're documenting a journey, and what's going on in the world right now is a part of the journey. It has not been a part of many big famous comedians' journeys. I mean, if Seinfeld had a podcast, or he was doing like some Netflix, documentary about his rise, they wouldn't be having to talk to you about COVID-19. This is a part of the journey right now, and I'm dealing with it, and comedians today are dealing with it. So you've got your big comedians that have already made it who are dealing with it in a different way, because now a lot of them that did theaters are going to have to downgrade to comedy clubs, and some of them did arenas are going to have to downgrade to probably comedy clubs too. So they're going to deal with it. Some of them are like, I'm not even going to do the show for that kind of money. I'm used to doing big theaters. I'm not going to downgrade to a place that holds 200, and they're only seating 75 because of everybody's got to be 6 feet apart. Like, some comics may not even do it. Everybody's dealing with it a different way. But I'm speaking from my point of view, which is the only point of view I can speak of, which is that of an up-and-comer. I mean, I'm not brand new. I've been doing stand-up comedy 11 years, but I'm not of the caliber. I'm not, the most searched on your Google. You know what I'm saying? So I'm experiencing a lot of this stuff on the rise, and that a lot of big guys didn't have to experience when they were on the rise. And this COVID thing is a part of the journey. I'm documenting it. This is how I'm dealing with it. I want to talk to you guys about a couple of things. All right. Number one, I did this thing yesterday, which I'm going to get into in a second. And the last episode, not the last episode with Jimmy Schubert, but the one before that with Melissa, we were talking about making a list of, during this time, of things that you wanted to get done, like goals, and then check them off as you do them to see how much you can get done before the world actually opens up again. Great episode, by the way. And by the way, I hope you guys have been enjoying these past few episodes. Like, past few episodes were like Afion Crockett, Adam Ferrara, Melissa Shoshahi, Jimmy Schubert. It was just like a phenomenal past 2 weeks of podcasting. I've had great guests. So that was one of the things that we talked about, making lists and goals and stuff like that, which I have been doing. I talked about my album. I had recorded an album years ago. I finally put it out there, and it'll be released. That I worked on. I edited it, and it'll be released. It's coming out Father's Day weekend, you guys. I'm excited about that. And another part of it, I mean, I've had a bunch of projects, you guys. Writing more, my stories, like I like doing, keeps the brain sharp, all this stuff. So I'm writing it all out, but nothing is really fulfilling my need as an artist, a live performing artist. It's driving me insane to not be able to go on stage. I know a lot of comedians probably feel that way. If you're not a comedian, I'm sure a lot of artists, if you're kept from doing your art, I'm sure you can relate. Or just human beings, we can relate. I know that a lot of us are going through maybe a depression. And I'm sorry that if you're going through that, but maybe it's easier said than done, but I have just found a way to not be depressed. I found a way to really enjoy. I am super thankful for the time I've had to get some things done. And I'm looking at the world in all new light. I'm looking at the world in high appreciation. Don't get me wrong. Yes, I miss a lot of things. I miss, as crazy or as simple as it may sound, I know a lot of you miss family members and, some stuff, things you're passionate about. I miss going to a bar. That's one of the timeless acts. I mean, how old is the act of walking into a bar alone with people, sitting at the bar, grabbing a booth, going up to the bartender, getting some cocktails. You make, chit chat with the bartender. Maybe people sitting at the bar. I miss that, especially since I grew up in the comedy club. I became a man inside of a comedy club. Yes, I started stand-up comedy at 20, but at 20, you're not fully grown as a man yet. I was raised in a comedy club. I'm used to the late nights, the banter. I miss, late night drinking with the, before your set, after your set, hanging out with other comics and just talking and making fun of each other, ball busting, helping each other with jokes, and then waiting to get on stage, and then you watch your buddy get on stage, and afterward you help. I miss all of that shit, man. I really, really, really do, and it just goes to show you how much we take things for granted. It's obvious we take for granted human contact, touching. We live in a world of FaceTiming and Zooming and texting, and then they took, the option to physically touch someone away when you see someone hug them and not feel shamed. That's taken away. And I miss it, and I hope that people, when this goes back, they don't take it for granted anymore. And who knows how long it's going to go back. I feel like people kind of shaming me or guilting me if I want to, give them a fist bump. I mean, we're not even touching each other, and people are still doing the air elbows. What's with the air elbows? You're going to just fist bump. If it's an air, then do a fist bump. Elbows is when you touch and you don't want to give germs. But why are you doing air elbows? People are just getting crazy with it, man. I'm not trying to go into all that because I got my whole views and stuff on that, man. But this is about something else. This is about appreciation. I see the life, I see the world in a whole new perspective. I appreciate, I miss, I long for the stage, you guys. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm in love with it, I'm in love with it. I know a lot of comics, and I've had mixed feelings about them. I know a lot of comics that this has really crushed them on a very depressed level, to where some of them are going to go I need a break from stand-up. I know some comics that were offered work already because certain parts of the country are starting to open up and comedy clubs are coming back. And I know some comics that are just like, you know what, no thank you. They're just kind of scared to go out right now. They also don't know what to make of it. Like, it's not going to be a normal comedy show like we're used to and stuff like that. And I've heard other comics make fun of other comics and be like, man, he's not a real comic. He never really was in love with it. If he's easy to give it up that easy, or they're not going to do whatever they can to get back up on stage, wear a mask, whatever. And everybody deals with things differently. I ain't mad at nobody. That doesn't mean that he wasn't in love with it. You ever been in love with someone and they broke your heart and you don't want to have nothing to do with them anymore, but you still love them? So you can love something and be in love with it, and also need a break from it as well. Okay? So, but I'm personally one of these guys who I'm having a longing for being on stage, and that's as much as I keep busy and I'm trying to be active, I'm doing my projects and keep my mind off it. It's keeping me really cheerful and happy and busy. I am really missing the stage. So, what I have been doing, and I've talked about this a couple times on the podcast, is I've been doing these little videos, like these monologues. There's nothing compared. There's no filling a void of performing for a live audience. We're live performers. There's nothing like it. So I don't want to do a Zoom show. I don't want to do an online Zoom stand-up comedy show. I'm not interested. Some comics, that's their thing. More power to you, I guess. Everybody deals with things in different ways, but I'm not interested in doing that. But what I have been doing for myself is I turn on my camera, not live. I hit record, and I have new jokes. I've had tons of new material since the lockdown. Every week a new joke was popping in my head, sometimes 2 a week, which that's actually a lot. Like good ideas, and it sucks that I can't just go and jump on stage and try them real quick, So that was getting to me like the most, is like when you get a new idea, it's being like suppressed and you can't let it out and have an outlet. And I don't like going on live with people and then you're like, oh, hey, there's one person. Let me tell you this joke. No thanks. I could do it in the mirror and have a better reaction. But what I have been doing is I turn on the camera, I record it, I do my best to get the idea out at the same time trying to perform it and talk it out, the new idea for the joke. And then, it was like a minute or two, and then I started asking other friends if they wanted to do it, and then they did it, and then they text me their video or their idea of a new joke, and we would give each other feedback and tags and stuff like that, kind of like an online writing session. But then what I did is I edited them together, so it was like a comedy show. So I'm hosting, and I'm doing my joke. I bring up the comic, he does his one joke. We each do like a minute or two each, and I was throwing those up on IGTV, and I still am. I was having a lot of fun doing them. But I will tell you that there's a few comics that I asked if they wanted to do it, and they told me, no, I'm not interested in stuff like that. I don't really want to do it. I'm not mad at them because I didn't want to do the Zoom shit either, but that's not really what that is. This is just like, hey, bounce a new joke off me, and we'll air it, we'll perform it. I got, it's not like we're giving away free jokes before they're done or something like that. It's like some of them may not ever make it to the stage. I give a nice little disclaimer in there, there's no audience, the laughter's not provided. I do a good job of it. It's good. If you're online, go check them out. They're on YouTube, Twitter, and my Instagram, IGTV. I was asking all these comics, you guys want to do it? And, some of them did it, and then some of them are just not interested, and I don't want to do that. I'm not doing so. They almost kind of, you can tell that they're not interested or that they think it's stupid or something. But let me tell you what, you guys. Yesterday, I did an online comedy show. My first one. But it wasn't one of those Zoom bullshits, okay? This was a state-of-the-art, high technology. This film shoot cost thousands and thousands of dollars from a company called Laugh Lounge. Okay? Laugh Lounge is an app, and you can download it, and you subscribe, and you get I believe it's a 1 week free trial, and then after that it's like $4 or $5 a month, and it's just live stand-up comedy on the app. Before the whole quarantine thing, they existed, and I did it before then too. We would perform in a live comedy club, so people all over the country, all over the world, can see. Live. Los Angeles has the best comedy clubs and the best comics, and like some of them, they don't get to be in here with us. So it was recording it. You can go on the app and watch. Not a special like you can on Netflix, not a YouTube, but instead you go watch like a show that was just on the app. It was like, this was a show, here was the lineup. It's not like, let me go watch this as 5 minutes on YouTube. No, it was like, this is the show. It's this comic doing 15 minutes each. He goes and he goes and he goes, and they got the whole show, and you can go watch a whole show and you get the live comedy experience on this app, right? So it was great. But since the whole quarantine thing, they've now launched stand-up comedy in a social distance world, and this was like their first time ever, and they asked me if I wanted to do it, and I said sure, even though I was a little hesitant because I did not want to do the live performing or streaming Zoom bullshit. And I'm glad that I say yes, just because I trusted the company in the past. They do. I know they do a really good job. I know the guy that owns it and runs it. And I just kind of had faith. I go, this I'll do, And then I saw that like a couple of my buddies were doing it, Darren Carter, Jimmy Schubert. It was, so I go, okay, I'll do it. So I go down there yesterday, and you guys, it was great. I mean, it's a legit studio, multi-camera, getting all these different angles of you, and it's like a black room, when you guys log on and you watch my set, you're gonna watch this comedian. He's like it's like you hired him for your birthday party. He's like right there in your phone for you, and it looks like he's in this dark room with black curtains and little spotlights and stuff like that, and they're just performing stand-up comedy for you. And it wasn't at all like Zoom, nobody there, or performing to nothing or something like that, because there was cameras. there was like two giant TVs. I put in the videos and stuff on my Instagram, but there's like two, 50-inch flat screen TVs facing you of all people from the app that are watching live, and you can hear them laugh. It was great, and I didn't. Let me tell you guys something. I felt so alive again. I felt so happy. You couldn't take the smile off my face when I was done performing. Nothing replaces the live performance, but these guys did a great job. They got pretty damn fucking close, okay? These guys are like masturbation, you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't the real thing, but it did the job. Like, I felt like I was doing stand-up comedy again, Sure, there's no audience. I was in this dark room with the curtain and the spotlight, but I was performing into a camera, and out of my peripheral vision, I can kind of see, these big screen TVs with all the different people watching me. And they are, one lady even made a comment, and I could hear her. And it was like, I was performing again. And it just felt amazing. And I handled it with, like, I'm not boasting myself, you guys. I'm just telling you the truth. Because if you listen to this podcast for a couple of years, when something goes bad, I come in here and I talk about it. Because as I said, this is about documenting the journey. But it just went so well that I can tell that my reaction to performing, you couldn't tell I was in a dark room with no audience. And what they're going to do is when it goes on the app for people to watch later, they're just going to like edit to, real people watching at home when they laugh, so it's going to like tell me do a joke, cut to audience. So it's going to look really good. And you can just tell that it didn't faze me. All the comics did great, but you can just tell that I wasn't fazed by performing to a camera with no audience. And I was so natural in front of it. I felt so comfortable and natural, like I was doing a set on stage. And I got to tell you guys, I think a big part of it is because I'm doing those videos. I'm doing those little videos where I, stand in front of my red curtain and I turn the camera on, hit record, and I start performing to the camera my new joke premises. Not, I've been doing them every week. I feel it's the only sort of stage time I've had in almost 70 days. So it's like I'm so used to performing in front of the camera so that it didn't faze me. I felt so comfortable and I was so happy that I did that. No one told me to do that. I came up with the idea. There's no comedy book that said, hey, flip on a camera and record into it. We've never had to deal with anything like this before. And I'm so glad that I have been doing that because it just really prepared me. Really prepared me. Real quick, because I didn't do any sponsors in the beginning, we'll do them now while we're on the subject. Speaking of Laugh Lounge, the app, it's now a brand new sponsor of ours. So if you guys want to see my performance from yesterday, it's out now. Plus, you can go back and see my sets from when I did it in a live audience for the Laugh Lounge in the past. Plus, so many other comics on there. I mean, there's so many comics, like really well-known comics on there. It's just, I mean, you can subscribe and you just get like all these comedy shows right to your app. So to subscribe, you're going to go to my website, homeschooledpod.com. Homeschooledpod.com. And it's right. It's like the first banner when you get to the site, the Laugh Lounge. You'll see it, or you can click on sponsors, and you'll see it on that page too, and plus all my other sponsors. So you click on sponsors, and you'll just click on it. It'll take you right. If you're on your desktop, it's going to take you to their website, but it's an app, so it's going to want you to download an app. So if you're on your phone, go to homeschooledpod.com. Click on the Laugh Lounge banner on the home page. Or you can click on sponsors and click on it there, and it'll take you right to download the app, whether you got an Android or an Apple. And you get 1 week free trial. So just go check out my sets or whoever else you like. And then if you want, you can cancel it after that. So just make sure you use my link, though, okay? And then all the other sponsors are on there, too. Embrace Pet Insurance. You need health insurance for your pet. That's a must. That's been a proud sponsor of ours. Not to mention benefitpackages.com. At a time like this, you need health insurance yourself. So the phone number and the link is all on there. All right, you guys, back to the episode. Listen, I don't have that much to say. This is a short message. It's the weekend. I wanted to contact you guys about this stuff. And being productive has just been so great. Like, doing those videos, no one's making me. There's no deadline to do them. I'm just doing them because I want to do them. It's my only outlet to kind of perform something. And I'm having fun with my friends, and we're sending each other jokes and stuff. And it's just great, and it helped me so much. And these little productive things that you guys can do, whatever it is that you're into, just find a way. And we're going to come back. We're going to come back. You don't want to come back and not be ready. You don't want to come back and be rusty. That's what I don't want to do. So I'm doing these little videos, and then I did a Laugh Lounge thing, and I'm going to be ready. Comedy's on its way back, you guys. I have a tour date, June 18th through the 21st. That's Father's Day weekend. I'll be in Phoenix, Arizona at the House of Comedy. You can get tickets on the website, Homeschooled Pod. I'm excited for the comeback. There's, it's like a 300-seater. They're only going to sell 75 tickets per show so that the room can be really spread out. It's going to be really safe, The audience is going to wear a mask. The staff is going to wear a mask. Hopefully I don't have to wear a mask on stage. I'll be up on stage far away from everybody, and you guys will be able to see my face because facial expressions. I never wear a hat on stage. I don't know if you guys realize that. If I do, it's always backwards. You never wear a hat on stage because you don't want to hide your eyes because the eyes tell a lot. And same thing, I don't want to wear a mask when I perform because, the facial expressions is a part of the performance. But that's going to be great, man. I hope that you guys can make it out. It's safe. And they're respecting the guidelines in Arizona, so there's that. But it's these little things that just keep you busy that have kept me happy, productive, and loose. Not rusty. And it showed when I did that performance yesterday. Yeah, man, did I feel so alive. I'm absolutely in love with stand-up comedy, and I never wasn't. During all this, I never lost it. I still am, and I'm so excited to get out there on the road and do it. And it's these little things, My other projects, cleaning out my garage, organizing the storage. Now I'm finally done. Now I'm parking my car in there because I had the hood stolen off my car recently. I got it back, and now I'm, parking in the garage. That was that goal. Remodeling my bedroom. That was that. Reorganizing my closet. I'm almost done with that. The comedy album comes out Father's Day weekend, you guys. My comedy album, it's called The Bad Guy, and it'll be out Father's Day weekend. I'm excited for that. All these little things, it's just kept me busy. There's so much stuff, little projects, a list of movies that I wanted to watch. There's just so much enjoyment in life. I go kayaking, I go bike riding, I go for walks and nice scenery. There's so much to enjoy. There's so much to appreciate. Whatever you can do, it keeps you a little less stressed, a little less depressed, and a little less afraid. Whatever you do, don't be afraid. I know it's okay to be afraid. I know I'm a little afraid too. It's normal, comes and goes, but try your hardest not to be afraid. Don't let these motherfuckers win. When I say these motherfuckers, it's whoever you want it to be. Don't let these motherfuckers win, okay? Don't be afraid. That doesn't mean go out and fucking lick doorknobs and, sneeze on people. Respect people's guidelines. If they want you to wear the placebo mask in the fucking grocery stores, wear the fucking placebo mask. And, it's for people's fear. I believe that's the biggest part of it. It's for their fear. Make them feel uncomfortable. You're going to go see your mom, wear the glove and mask and stuff like that. But besides that, guys, I ain't wearing it when I'm out walking around. I'm not wearing it on stage. And I'm not really thinking about it. I'm just respecting people's wishes. I give them a lot of space if I'm not wearing a mask and they're walking towards me. If I go in the store, I wear the mask and the glove, but I'm not really thinking about it. I'm thinking about the blue sky, man. It's a beautiful year. 2020 sucks. Yeah. Well, not like normal sucks. It's like abnormal sucks. It's like we've never experienced anything like it. What are you talking about? It sucks. But for the world, it's fucking gorgeous outside. I know Gorgeous doesn't pay your rent, but you got to look at the benefits. You got to go appreciate. I'm out enjoying, you got to keep at it. You guys got to wake up. You got to set your alarm. I don't know what day it is. Is it Tuesday or is it fucking, Monday? Like, I don't understand that. I'm not perfect. I've fucking been drinking every night like probably a lot of people. Probably a lot of people are going to deal with alcoholism after this, but I'm drinking every night. I'm not trying to tell you I'm a perfect person, but I'm not Captain fucking Tony Robbins trying to motivate over here, but I am telling you what has worked. It's a proven fact. If you do it right, it works. Now's not the time to change anything. You're like, well, I'm going to change. I'm going to work on myself. I'm going to work on this. Now's the time to keep your usual ritual. If you do that, you're going to know what day it is. You have to set your alarm at the same time that you were setting it when everything was normal and you were going to work. You have to. And then you have to get up and start your day, whether you're going to work or not. You get up, you start your day with a glass of water, and then, you have coffee, you walk or you work out or whatever it is. You shower, you get dressed in your clothes as if you are going, not like pajamas, I'm bumming around the house. No, like clothes, like even if it's, shorts, but these are nice. These are my outside shorts. I'm hanging out in my house. You guys got to keep your rituals. This is not the time to change. When the world was normal, nobody wanted to do change and work on themselves. It was so hard to do it, but now all of a sudden everybody wants to change their normal ritual. I posted something the other day on Twitter and Instagram, and it was a Bruce Lee quote, and I said, and it kind of goes like this. It goes like, to change during change is the changeless. And some people were a little confused by my post, not understanding what I was saying. And it kind of reinsures what I've been saying this whole time. People don't understand that. So when you make changes on yourself, on your own life, and you're working on yourself, I'm going to stop doing this and I'm doing that. And I'm going to start doing this. You were making those changes based off of a world that you already knew. So it was going to adjust to the world. You make changes based on what is going on, so you'll know it'll work and you know where it's going, and you know what I mean? But right now the world is changing. So if you change at the same time as the world, it's almost like you didn't change. So a lot of people were confused by that post that I had put up. If you're standing on a ground and you want to make a change, so you move left and the ground stays still, you changed. Or if you stand still and the world changes, the ground moves left, so you stay in the same place, there's change. But if you move left and the ground moves left, there's no change. So right now the world is changing, so for you to change anything, you're not really doing anything. So if you want to move up and progress, you need to stay the same right now while the world figure out what it is, because the world is changing. So now you need to keep your normal ritual. Wake up, shower, be productive, write goals, achieve the goals, see how much you can get done in a day. And I owe so much to myself for making myself do those little videos, because I was able to handle that situation I'd never been in before, of having to perform in a dark room for people on an app. And it went great. So that's what I wanted to talk to you guys about today. And it's all documenting the journey of an artist, of a grower, of a stand-up comedian, or whatever you are. I'm documenting the journey. This is what I'm going through. And it's how I'm dealing with this as a performer. And I'm excited for comedy to come back. I'm excited for the tour dates that I have. Things are starting to slowly move. And I'm happy with it. And I hope that you guys can find happiness. And you have a beautiful, wonderful weekend. And that's it. I'm going to put the link to Laugh Lounge app for you guys to sign up for the free week trial so you can check it out, what I'm talking about, my performance on there. I hope that you like it. And I'll also put the link to the website so you guys can go in there and see all the sponsors and the merch. I have some awesome merch. We have the Homeschooled Podcast t-shirt, which is the Ex-Presidents series, which is me wearing the Ronald Reagan mask and my co-host Kevin Lyons wearing the Richard Nixon mask, like from Point Break, and it's a cool ass design with the sunset in the background and palm trees, very California 90s feel. It's freaking dope, and it's very limited because when we hit episode 300, you will not be able to buy anything with that graphic on it anymore because it is only available from episode 200 to 300, and I will be taking it down, and then episode 300 will have a completely different design, which is being worked on now, and this way we know that you're an OG when we see you with the ex-presidents logo. Okay, we got t-shirts, mugs, hoodies, sweatshirts, tank tops because the summer's coming. It's all on there, you guys. There's a sticker. I mean, the sticker is only $5. Anything you can do to help us support the Homeschool Podcast, go to homeschooledpod.com or click the link in the description and go ahead and get yourself a t-shirt or something, a sticker, whatever. And while you're on there, browse through our sponsors like benefitpackages.com to get yourself health insurance at an affordable rate, and they'll guide you through everything with the Obamacare stuff that's super confusing. They'll guide you through it. You also got insurance for your pet, Embrace Pet Insurance. You got that on there. And then don't forget the link for Laugh Lounge, so you guys can sign up for a free 1 week free trial so you can check out all the stand-up comedy on there, including my sets. All right, you guys, thank you so much for listening. I want to give a big, big, big thank you to my co-host Kevin Lyons for all his hard work. I want to give a big thank you to all of you for listening to this very podcast. I appreciate you. We're working hard over here to give you great content. Please spread the word. Go to iTunes or wherever you listen and give us 5 stars. Please go to YouTube. Agostino Zoida is the channel, and hit subscribe. I have all the episodes on there, not to mention the Welcome to Purgatory, where I try the new joke premises in the camera. Those are on there too, and not to mention some of the other stand-up comedy clips. So make sure you hit subscribe on YouTube. We really need it. Thank you guys so much. I'm Agostino Zoida, and this is Homeschooled Podcast. Homeschooled Podcast.
Homeschool.
The Homeschool Podcast. Why? Because he was homeschooled.
I don't want to do that.
No, okay.
I don't want to do that at all.